wanting to show you an off-grid system. Beautiful river behind me, lovely cloudy day, and we're out in the middle somewhere. So this off-grid system is pretty special because the customer wanted to heat a swimming pool. So behind me here we have the swimming pool and of course the house, and I'll come down to where solar is. So we have upgraded their existing solar arrays. You can see there this solar array was existing, so we've just put new panels on. There was one solar array hanging off the shed and we've just relocated that up to the top of the shed. And you can see me there behind me, the hot water heat pumps. So these are 4 kilowatts in and something like a ridiculous 12 kilowatts out, something like that. So there's two of them, both single phase. So the whole off-grid system is single phase. And yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Keith. Yep, no worries, I'll plug it in. Cool. Yeah, good. Cool. Yep, sweet. And just put this tilt on instead of this, because as you can see it gets in the way of the lawnmower, the old one. So. And here is the battery room and inverter room. So we've got 120 volt batteries with a Electronic Fronius mix there, 15 kilowatt Electronic inverter, 8.2 Fronius. So this Fronius here runs the panels that you've just seen. There's 10 panels on this roof, so that's 3 kilowatts, and there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 panels over there as well. So there's 6 kilowatts. And behind us, so that's the power room, if you like. This is the pump room, pool pump room. I will show you this just because we've got some automation going on for the hot water heat pumps. So there's a pool pump, there's the Infinity Edge pump, there's the pump, I don't know what it is, I think it's just a household water pump they're going to start using soon. That's the old household water pump. Here's where the old system was. Some of you might recognise what that system was originally. It was a 48 volt outback system, and what we've done is we've put some control relays in for the hot water heat pumps 1 and 2, and we're switching those on as the battery voltage gets up or the state of charge gets up, and likewise as the battery voltage drops or state of charge drops, they switch off. So we've got a good hysteresis in there, so that the hot water heat pumps aren't constantly turning off and on. They get a good, probably at least a good half an hour or an hour of run time each time they switch on. And there's some of the rest of the paraphernalia. So this system has obviously had to be engineered and calculated a little bit differently to a normal off-grid system, because a normal off-grid system you just care about winter and days like today, like you can see. Here I will show you the rest of the panels going on now. So we can see up there on that roof there we've got 2 rows of 12 panels on this side and 2 rows of 12 panels on the other side, and we are also AC coupling into a Fronius there. And if you're doing your calculations, yes, you're right, there's a lot of over PV, so we're probably going to upgrade to another Fronius inverter on this array. We'll just have to see how the data goes. The beauty of over PVing with solar is that on days like today we're still producing probably around 5 kilowatts of solar PV, which is huge. So you get charge in no matter what the weather's like, and when the weather is sunny you really don't need the peak that the panels can produce. You just need a good flat energy curve or power curve that's being produced, and that power curve needs to be reasonably even, so it really works well over PVing, especially when you've got loads like this. A couple of nice big heat pumps. Alright, talk soon. So I'm back here at the Fronius and Electronic inverter setup. This Electronic is the master battery inverter that manages the whole site. So out of this Electronic we have inputs and outputs. This Electronic is controlling the battery charging and the energy and the generator starting. And it also controls when the hot water heat pumps for heating the swimming pool will turn on or off. It's all programmable, and we can remotely program that through the internet. And in this particular case we have a very simple internet Wi-Fi extender with an RJ45 plug, and that goes through to under here. We have a lovely little monitoring computer, and that pulls all the data up online so that the customer can then log in and view the energy usage and the battery state of charge, how much the solar is producing, keep an eye on the system. Also, as a technician, I can log into the system and I can make programming adjustments, which is really important for a job like this where we've got a lot of control going on. So we need to fine tune that control over probably the course of a year. When we look at the data and we see how the system's performing in the winter and performing in the summer, we can also, from that data, we can advise the customer whether they need perhaps more storage or whether they need more solar panels. And I would say the first place to start is solar panels, because they are relatively inexpensive these days, and the more solar you can have, the better. So what I wanted to show you on this was the generator auto start. So basically when the customer needs to, so when the system needs the generator, it will just automatically start it. So if the batteries get too low, it starts the generator. There's a whole lot of rules around that, so that at night time it allows them to go a little bit lower, and it can top them up before night time just in case they get below a certain point. We know that it's going to have to start at night. We'd rather have it start in the evening when everyone's awake still, so it doesn't start at night. So there's a whole lot of rules around generators starting. Now I want to show you this, and I'm going to split the video. So what's going to happen is I'm going to turn the generator on, and we've programmed the system so that when the generator is running and the batteries get to a certain level, then it will turn one heat pump on based on voltage, and then when they get to the next level based on state of charge, it will turn the next heat pump on. And because it's an overcast day, that's a thing that the customer can opt to do if they really want some heat in the swimming pool urgently, like so got some friends coming around for a party, turn that generator on. So here we go. I'm just going to push this. I'm going to push this, and I'm going to run outside and see if I can get there before the generator starts. So hold. Here we go, and here we go. And this is the generator. Here we go. Just made it. This is a beautiful, I think it's a 17 kVA generator. We've got it set up to be drawing something like, as you can see there, I don't know if you can see the current coming out. We've got 30, 40 amps. .47 amps. So that's nice. We're not overtaxing the generator. I don't like to run generators full noise all the time. Rather run them maybe 75%. Two reasons: it doesn't. It produces less load on the generator, obviously less wear and tear if it's running sort of around 75%. But the other reason is that when you get things starting, like a heat pump for instance, it can a motor start like that, a big motor start, can overtax the generator as well. So I'd rather have a little bit of headroom left for those motor start peaks. And often anyway, what happens is the generator can't respond quick enough to the motor starting, and so the inverter, the main inverter, will kick the generator off. And the generator will keep running, but it will kick it off for maybe 10 seconds, and then it will click it back in once that motor is stabilized again, and it will then slowly bring the generator up to start managing the load. That's quite normal. But either way, the generator is giving us a lot of benefit in this situation, giving the customer a lot of flexibility as well. And the reality is you're only going to use the generator in the middle of winter, and on absolutely overcast days, or when you've got massive loads that you want to run. So yeah, a good quality generator can often be valuable in a larger off-grid system. Okay. So what we have here is batteries at 97%, which is my turn on point for the second hot water heat pump for the pool. First one is already running. Now we've got to state of charge of 97% and it's just turned on. And we can see there that flashing's not normal, it's just the camera. That little symbol there is saying it's doing a wait time before it actually starts heating. So this will click in and start heating soon. There she goes, she just kicked in, and we now have two heat pumps running. And the system voltage has dropped to 128. We've got battery power coming out, but now the generator is kicked back in and is charging the battery and running the two heat pumps. So we now have approximately 9.5 kilowatts of load. When the heat pump started, the solar also kicked out because of the surge, but the solar is now about to come back in again. And as the solar comes back in, we'll see that rise up again. So that's what we've got at the moment. Heating the pool with two heat pumps from generator, which is not the ideal, but there's no sun and this is a test. See how the system handles it. Everything is running sweet at the moment. So here we go. Fronius, click, click, click. And it will start picking up along with the other inverter in the other building. And here we go, AC coupled solar is starting to rise. And we'll see the battery charge state rise as well as the solar starts rising. So we're now using generator and solar. And heating the pool. So I'm now going to cut the generator. Before I do that, we'll have a look at the system. We've got the battery being charged at the moment. We've got good solar, 133.5 volts. The battery is in absorption mode and 98% state of charge. So the two heat pumps are running currently. When that state of charge gets to 95, it drops to 95, one heat pump will turn off and the other heat pump will turn off when the battery voltage gets below 123 volts, which will happen pretty quick when we turn the generator off. Here goes, turning the generator off now. Here it offload, the generator will time itself down. We're now running everything from battery. We've got 129, 128 volts and dropping under load, which is normal for a battery. 3 kilowatts. Three kilowatts coming out of the battery, 6 kilowatts coming from solar, 9 kilowatts of load. No trouble.